This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Big Bubba, and we're going to break down tonight's game versus the Utah Jazz. And it's actually an important game, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks need to get this win to save off. I mean, I haven't really responded or said anything, but I've been looking on social media and people are bugging out. People are bugging out. They're upset at the New York Knicks right now, and rightfully so, because their performance over the last 3 games, obviously they won a game and they had a decent performance, but against the Brooklyn Nets, and then their previous game against who they played the previous game, I forgot now already that quick. OKC.
Thunder.
Against OKC, was not good. Especially on defense, on the defensive side of the ball. They gave up 145 points, ladies and gentlemen. And, let me tell you, the Utah Jazz, they're 10-5 on the season. And, the way that they play scares me with the New York Knicks because they shoot the three a lot. Right? They're number 4 in the league in 3-point attempts. I think 39.8. And, of course, the Knicks, you've seen what the Knicks have been doing guarding the 3-point line. They've been giving up a lot of wide open threes, and now you're playing a team that really focuses on shooting the 3. That's a scary proposition to me. Big Bubba, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
What's going on? I'm feeling pretty good, man. We got like you said, important game. There's a lot to discuss tonight, especially like about the news reports about what's going on with the team meeting and everything. It's I'm not gonna say this is do or die, but Lord, Sim, this is something has to give.
Well, this is the beginning of a road trip, an important road trip, right? 5-game West Coast swing that the Knicks are on, where they play some really good basketball teams. And to begin this season, you didn't think that Utah was going to be one of those teams. With Rudy Gobert being gone and Donovan Mitchell being gone, you thought the Utah Jazz were in rebuilding mode. Well, they're one of the top teams in the Western Conference right now. We'll see if that lasts throughout the season, but as we speak, they're one of the top teams in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I mean, Tim, I agree with you. I think everyone, including me, would have told you if this was the start of the West Coast trip, I would have said we starting off on a good note, starting off with a W. Now it's more about Sim. I'm not even joking. This team, this could get ugly tonight. If the Knicks continue how they playing, we could get blown out by 30 points.
Well,
20 points.
if they continue guarding the 3-point line the way that they're guarding it, I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. The great thing is, Sim, we could put up points. It's just the defense is just horrible. It's bad.
I mean, listen, you put up 135 points, but you gave up 145 points. That's that's not going to work.
That's crazy.
The issue is, elite teams can do both.
Yes.
Teams that are not elite normally can do one or the other. Right? So far this season, the Knicks have shown that they can score the ball. They did have a game where, they scored had a low point output, but they've shown that they can score the ball, but they haven't shown that they can consistently get stops. And I don't feel like the Knicks have the kind of firepower that's going to allow them to win when they can't get stops. right? That right there is an issue for me. If the Knicks had scored 155 points and won, there'd be some people that's okay because they still won the game. And there'd be some people that say, well, we just got to outscore teams, But, I mean, you gave up 145 points, and they made, it's not even like they made 27 threes like the Celtics did. They made 17 or something like that. They shot a high percentage from the three-point line, but the Knicks got to be on point tonight from that three-point line because the Utah Jazz can shoot it. They shoot it at like 37, 38%, and they shoot a lot of them.
Yep.
And, with the way that the Knicks have been playing against that three-point line, that could be a recipe for disaster. Hopefully, they've been really focusing on that three-point line and defending that three-point line. You know what I mean? Hopefully that's been a topic of conversation throughout all of their team meetings and so on and so forth. But I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous about tonight's game. And when we look at the matchups, I'll explain why I'm nervous about those matchups too.
Yeah, no, I'm nervous with you, Sam. Like I said before, tonight can start off really. At the end of the night, it could be really great for us, and we got a great victory after responding with the team dinner and team meeting, or this can be the start of something bad. And we're going to talk about it, Sam, but this can get bad. I'm talking about some people might not be coming back from this West Coast trip bad. So,
are you saying this game, or are you saying the West Coast trip?
West Coast trip.
Right, the West Coast trip could get bad.
And like I said before, I'm talking about there won't be certain people coming back after that West Coast trip.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, it
we'll
is.
see what happens. Listen, there's going to be opportunities. The Golden State Warriors aren't playing well, right? You got OKC, where we just lost to OKC, but, that's a team that is going to be up and down as well because they're that level of a team. So there's a chance that, there's still a chance that you could beat that team in OKC. And then Utah Jazz, you're still not sure who they are, right? So there are some games that should be winnable. The Phoenix Suns is a tough game, of course. The Denver Nuggets, I never like our matchup versus the Denver Nuggets.
I'm gonna be completely transparent. we don't win in Denver, but that's a whole nother game preview.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Injury report for the Knicks: Mitchell Robinson is out. For the Utah Jazz, Rudy Gay is out. All right, and this is as of the 1:30 official NBA injury report. All right, for the Knicks, Robinson is out. Rudy Gay is out. How much, Big Bubba, do you think the Knicks are missing Mitchell Robinson? Hartenstein can look good as he wants in that starting unit, and I've said it a lot that I think he looks good and is worth watching. But knowing the Knicks' problems on the defensive side, defending the perimeter, not having Mitchell Robinson, I think really does hurt the Knicks because he's the big eraser. You know what I mean? Even if he's not blocking the shots, he makes guys change their shot.
Makes them think twice.
And the Knicks are missing that right now because guys can get to the rim, which is opening up the outside, and it's making it difficult. The Knicks, even with Mitchell Robinson there, the Knicks don't do a good job defending the three. Without Mitchell Robinson, it's even worse because there's more guys penetrating to the basket, which means guys are sucking in even deeper, leaving those three-point shooters super duper wide open.
Yeah.
Man,
yes, Sam, it's pretty bad right now. It's Isaiah Hartenstein is just pretty much a Band-Aid covering up a dam, and it is just not working well.
Yeah, Hartenstein being out there is maybe one of the reasons that the Knicks' offense is a little bit better because, he's a threat from the three-point line. He does spread the floor. He can hit the little mid-range floater. And, I'm not going to say there's some people who say he's a terrible defender. I don't believe he's a terrible defender, but he's not a shot
But
blocker. He
yeah, he's a
doesn't
second.
scare you in that aspect. You know what I mean?
He's a second. Listen, at the end of the day, we all like Isaiah Hartenstein, but he's here to be the backup. He's here to be the second unit guy. And look, we need Mitch, and hopefully we get Mitch back soon. I think what was it, like 1 to 2 weeks, something like that, or 3 weeks?
Well, it happened a couple of weeks ago, and they said in a couple of weeks they were going to, take a look, take another look. So I don't know if we know exactly how long it's going to be that Mitchell Robinson is out. But anyway, listen, Hartenstein, he does what he does, right? He hustles, he grabs rebounds. He's obviously a good rebounder. I'm expecting him to get another 12 rebounds tonight or something like that. He's a good rebounding center. He's got a big body. He's not afraid to use it and throw it around. He just doesn't protect the rim because he doesn't have the length as Mitchell Robinson. Even if he's getting 1 block per game, that's good. That's okay. But he does not change people's shots.
No.
Because he doesn't have the length to do so. You know what I mean? So the Knicks need Mitchell Robinson back to help out, to help cover up mistakes of the guards. And there's nothing the Knicks can do about it until he gets back. I'll say it again before we get to these starting lineups. I'll say it again. The defensive scheme, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to change, but something has. Listen, it's almost too late to change that defensive scheme. You don't have enough practices to change the scheme. That scheme was implemented in training camp the past 3 years or 2 years, whatever it is. And you don't have enough time to change the scheme. You know what I mean? And you can change it. Doesn't mean that it's going to be executed correctly. So you don't have enough time to change it and ensure that the execution is going to be good, in my opinion. So I don't know exactly, where Tom Thibodeau goes with it, but he has to see his defensive scheme isn't working. Playing so deep into the paint isn't working. And maybe it's just telling the guys, don't be so deep. Showing them exactly where to go on the floor. But to me, that's Tom Thibodeau's style, though. So I don't think he wants to change it. We'll see tonight. This team can shoot the 3, man. And that's what has me just a little bit nervous. They can shoot the 3. They can knock they will shoot the 3. They're willing to shoot the 3. And they can knock it down. And I'm sure they're coming into this game looking at the Knicks and saying, this team will give you the 3 ball. Shoot it. Take it. That's what scares me about this basketball game. That's what scares me. You know what I mean? Starting lineups for tonight. Projected starting lineups for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, Cam Reddish, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Isaiah Hartenstein. And for the Utah Jazz, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen, Kelly Olynyk, and Jared Vanderbilt. And this is where, when I start to look at these matchups, ladies and gentlemen, I get a little bit nervous. I don't know why Isaiah keeps coming in and out. What's going on? Like,
man, I was trying to blow my nose in front of everybody, man.
You're supposed to take care of that stuff before you come on the show. I mean,
I'm sorry, man.
What's going on?
Hey,
Man, all I see is lights blinking. You got people watching the show that, you know what I'm saying? Like they can't handle blinking lights, and you know what's going on.
Hey man, I was just trying to keep it professional, man.
Okay,
I didn't want people to see me blink.
All right.
No, I'm doing this for you, man.
All right. For the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Cam Reddish, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Isaiah Hartenstein. For the Utah Jazz, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen, Kelly Olynyk, and Vanderbilt. There's some matchup problems here. I think Jalen Brunson should be able to, I don't want to say have his way, but Jalen Brunson should be able to ball out against Mike Conley, I guess. He should be okay against Mike
Yeah,
Conley. Mike Conley's not the same defender that he was a few years back.
I give that matchup for Brunson. Me personally, I think Mike Conley is a great player, but Brunson is his prime, so I'm taking Brunson.
Yeah, the size is not going to be a crazy size difference. Mike Conley can still put up some points, though. I'm not taking that away from him. You know what I mean? He can still score. He's obviously not their primary scorer, but he can still score the basketball. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to take that away from him. Jalen Brunson's got to do a better job defending. He was asked about, not getting into the game, not getting back in the game, against OKC or, being, benched for a little bit. And, he came out and said, I wouldn't have put myself back in the game either with the way that I was defending. I think he understands his defensive limitations, Jalen Brunson. Obviously, there's not much he can do about it because of his size, his stature. You know what I mean? He can move his feet. He does have some upper body strength. You know what I mean? He doesn't have great speed. He doesn't have great length. That poses a little bit of a problem. Work ethic, he's going to go hard. He's going to try. He's going to play hard, and, we've got to help him out a little bit. That poses a little bit of a problem when it comes to three-point shooting because you got to help him out. Mike Conley, he's not going to be one of those guards that's just going to break down your defense, though. Not anymore. You know what I mean? So this could help the Knicks out in that regard. You know what I mean? Any other thoughts on Mike Conley and Jalen Brunson, what that matchup is like? Because there's some scarier matchups on this board.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Sam, like I said before, I think Brunson's going to win this matchup. He's younger, has more strength, and and like I said before, he's in his prime. Conley's like 34 now, 34, something around there.
Yeah, something like that.
So again, Brunson should have this matchup, but I want to get to these other matchups in because Lord have mercy, that's the bread and butter of where this can go ugly with these other matchups.
Yeah. You got Jordan Clarkson. It is remained to be seen who guards who. You have Jordan Clarkson right now. Cam Reddish plays shooting guard. I don't know if it'll be Cam Reddish on Clarkson or Cam Reddish on Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen is cooking, though, and he's got more length than Clarkson. So, Cam Reddish has more length than R.J. Barrett. He's a better defender than R.J. Barrett. You might see Cam Reddish on Lauri Markkanen and R.J. Barrett on Jordan Clarkson. Right? That's the way that I'm thinking maybe it should be defended. Your thoughts on that?
I agree with you, Sam. Lauri Markkanen is playing like an all-star.
Whew.
He's playing like an all-star. There's no doubt about it. If the Jazz keep this up, Sam, and I don't know if they're going to be first, but if they keep up in that top 8, there's no question that Lauri Markkanen is going to be an all-star. No question. It's kind of crazy, Sam, right? Where you don't expect this from Lauri Markkanen. You're like, man, maybe he's this, but when you get a certain role and you have a role and you get opportunity, things change.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say this, though, the way to defend him, I would kind of do how how Porzingis was, but it might not even work because I was thinking how, you have a guy smaller than him, but you got to get up under his legs with a guy like Lauri Markkanen.
Right.
You got to get up under his legs and make him work. So I would definitely take a page of how Boston used to have Marcus Smart guard Porzingis and, do it like that. But I do agree that Cam Reddish is our best defender, and he should be the one guarding Lauri Markkanen. Don't get me started on Randall. That's just we're going to talk about him in a little bit. But I believe it should be like that. And I believe RJ should guard Jordan Clarkson because at least with Jordan Clarkson, I want to say he's more swift and more loosey-goosey.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing with Jordan Clarkson, he suffers the same fate as J.R. Smith and all those other guys where he could be a chucker. And I think RJ would have a better opportunity with him, let him take the big shots and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, he can be. He's averaging 15 shot attempts per game right now this season, shooting 42.9% from the field. He's shooting 39.3% from the three-point line.
Yeah, and I think that's where, for me, RJ would have to, and this is what you talked about earlier, Sim, is not going so deep into the paint. This is where RJ should be more, more into Jordan Clarkson and force him to, take the long twos, mid-range.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that the threes aren't coming from, every once in a while they're coming from, guys going off the dribble and pulling a three, but most of the time these threes are coming from either the ball being swung or dribble penetration, right? So if you have Mike Conley, let's say, on the same side of the floor as Jordan Clarkson, and Mike Conley is able to dribble past Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett has no choice but to help.
Yes.
Right? And then once he helps, the ball gets kicked out to Jordan Clarkson. Can he get out there in enough time to defend that three-point shot, right? Herein lies the issue of not being able to stop penetration at the point of attack.
Yeah, that's definitely tough.
If you can't stop penetration at the point of attack, you're in trouble, You might as well go get Elfrid Payton and put him out there.
Oh, man, we can, yeah. I swear to God, I don't think we have it.
I'm never going to let people live it down. I'm not saying that Elfrid Payton should be our starting point guard. No way about it. But people hated on that man so bad. But you look at the last 2 seasons, you look at our perimeter defense, it's been terrible.
So will there ever be a day we can get away from saying Elfrid Payton?
When we get a point guard that can get stops and score at the same time?
Yo, man, what's going on with Deuce?
Deuce ain't scoring the ball like that. He may, he might hit a couple of. Deuce got some, Deuce still got some learning to do. Maybe one day he's that guy, but he's got some learning to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just like bringing it up. Listen, there's no way in hell that I would have him be my starting point guard right now.
We know you do, Sam. We know you do.
There's no way in hell that I would have him be my starting point guard right now. Let's make that clear. But I just like to throw it in people's face when we look at our perimeter defense right now. Everybody was mad at that kid, but our defense was much better then than it is right now.
I will say this, and I have to fight you back a little bit, Sam. I believe, in my heart of hearts, Reggie Bullock is more missed than Elfrid Payton.
Both of them. You look at both of those positions. I mean, come on. Both of those positions we replaced.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy, Sam? And I will say this, and this is where, and again, the front office doesn't make great moves, but this one to me was one of the worst moves they made. Where you signed Elfrid, you signed look, you got me saying Elfrid Payton. Yes, you signed Burks. I feel like the front office got scared. And yes, when you lose, you're supposed to take things out of that loss, right? Especially a series, and be like what you need. And of course, I think what the Knicks thought they needed was more people that could put the ball on the floor.
More offense. They weren't. They needed more offense, which they did.
Needed more offense. But, and this is the tough part, and this is where you have to stand 10 toes down, is that you got to understand that your defense is what got you there. But you're supposed to, to me, I always believe the Knicks should have kept Reggie Bullock. They should have kept Reggie Bullock, and they should have never signed.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say this. I would challenge you to go back and look at Alec Burks' defensive stuff last year. His rating was actually pretty high.
Was it really?
Yeah. It was actually pretty high, especially at that point of attack. It was actually pretty good. He just couldn't play. He just wasn't a point guard, but defensively he was actually pretty good last year.
Okay.
But
again, I think you should have definitely.
Anyway, we can't go back. We can't go back.
Yeah, we can't go back.
You know what I mean? That is what it is. We can't go back and change that. But RJ Barrett, I think, will be on Jordan Clarkson. He and Cam Reddish will share some time on Lauri Markkanen. You know what I mean? But Lauri Markkanen, man, is definitely
He's playing like an all-star, so that's plain
the
and simple.
guy's killing, man. And you know what makes me mad is it makes the entire what Utah did, it makes it look really good.
Now, see, that's an interesting thing. And I know this is not a Utah show, but this is an interesting thing, right? Where
You're falling off the screen, man. You know, you can get eaten
man, my
up.
head.
I know your head
Listen,
is
the
big.
head.
You don't want people to see the monstrosity up there and everything, but you know, we gotta stay even.
Oh man, I'm like, it really was leading. I was like, oh man, no. So Sim, for me, it's like this is really interesting. Do you like what the Jazz are doing? Because listen, there are some people that are like, this is great. You know, they're not tanking, but there's also people like, well, where's this leading to? Is it leading to anything? Because again, you're kind of playing yourself out of the Victor Wembanyama opportunity with this. And it is an interesting thing because at one point I'm like, wow, the Jazz are doing good and they're making people look stupid. Where I'm also like, well, this is nice, but where's it gonna go? Because again, you have a bunch of high level role players on that team.
But my question is, any team that you get, you're gonna ask where is it gonna go? You can get dude Wembanyama, and you still might ask where is it gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Depending on who you put around the kid, he's gonna need some years to develop too. You know, to me, if they play and this team stays top four and it's top four, and now you got all these draft picks that you can say, okay, we can package these draft picks to bring in other players. That's what you do. You know,
that's
you know,
true.
every team that jumps on the scene and surprises, everyone is always going to say, oh, this team may not be good, or this team, you know, maybe they're just getting lucky, this, that, and the third, but maybe they're not.
Well,
too. You know what I mean?
No, I say that because, like, look, right, there's teams like the Pelicans, right, that can compete, and because the Lakers are so horrible, they're still they're still literally in the Wembanyama sweepstakes because they have the Lake. I don't, and that's another thing I don't know. Do the Jazz have somebody's 2023 pick, which again they could be like the Pelicans where they can
I
also
don't
they
know.
can
I
win.
don't know that they do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they probably have Minnesota's 2023 pick. They probably have Cleveland's. You
And
know,
Minnesota's looking bad right now.
you know, you're not expecting those teams to be, you know, that low in the standings. Obviously, Cleveland isn't. You know, Minnesota's not looking that good. You know, but there's going to be more talent than just him.
Yeah,
That's in the draft.
That's true.
Right? There's going to be more talent than just him. And if your team is good, shoot, you might be able to package 2 or 3 picks and come away with the number 2 pick still.
Ooh, that kid Scoop, man, that kid is gonna be crazy. Scoop gonna be.
So you might still be looking okay, even if you don't get Wembanyama. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you know, you gotta. We'll see where they end up being.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see where they end up being, but you know, Lauri Markkanen, you know, the way that he plays, you know, he's a good basketball player. He can obviously shoot the basketball. You know, can handle the ball. He's 7 foot tall, so he can handle the ball a little bit. He can post up a little bit. He can shoot it from 3. That matchup, whoever is defending him, scares me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think nobody's to me that can guard him on our team. Me personally, I don't think there's anybody here that can guard him. I believe where he's at right now, he's found his groove. He finally found a home. I think there's going to be a consistent home.
I mean,
well,
we'll see if you found a home yet. It's only been like it ain't even half the season yet. Let's see if you found a home.
I know, but he's comfortable. He's comfortable right now, Sim, and that's a scary thing for a young player, is to be comfortable and be good. You know, so I do believe that tonight, whoever it is, Randall, RJ,
I don't think it's going to be Randall, because Randall's going to have to deal with his own guy in Olenek.
Yeah, man. Listen, right now, man. You know, shout out to Gilmore. Gilmore did a great video last night, breaking down like the defense of the Knicks. And Sim, Randall's just a lot of lacklusterness right now from Randall with the defense.
Yeah, you can blame it on Randall if you want, but
Well,
listen,
it's not
Randall,
about no, I'm
Randall ain't
not.
giving up 52% threes all by itself. It's the
No,
entire
no, no,
team.
no, no. I'm not blaming Randall, Sim. I'm definitely not blaming Randall fully. But I will say his defense has been very bad, where it's like, he's just been lazy with, coming off screens and backing
I'm
off
just gonna
guys.
say break down every player on the team. That's what
No,
I'm gonna say. Break down every player on the team because every player on the team has been bad defensively.
yeah, no.
It's not
Listen,
just one player. Everybody's gonna point at Julius Randle. As soon as things got bad, people were gonna point at Randle and say, "Get him out of here." Cool, whatever you say, I don't even care. Say whichever. People can talk about whoever they want, whatever. Do what you do. But to me, it's the entire team. It's the defensive scheme, and it's the entire team. The defensive scheme I think is bad, antiquated, and it's bad. It's struggling to keep up with 3-point shooting. You know what I'm saying? Every player on the team, including Julius Randle, is bad at getting out and closing out the 3-point shot. You know what I'm saying? Every player on the team, including Julius Randle, is sucking into the paint even if the ball is on the other side of the floor. Every player on the team, including Julius Randle, is allowing guys to penetrate past them. Every player on the team, including Julius Randle, has not stepped, except for Jalen Brunson. But except for Jalen Brunson on this one, when they've seen somebody come into the basket, has not really stepped in to stop it, including Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on the team, in my opinion, is responsible. That's how I see it. Because I'm seeing it all over the floor. RJ Barrett's been just as bad. Say what you want. I know that's his guy. So he's gonna defend him at all costs. I get it. But RJ Barrett's been terrible defensively this year, in my opinion.
no, he's been bad, man. He's been horrible.
He's been terrible defensively. I think the entire team, including Randall, has been terrible defensively.
So someone said Randall's your lost cousin.
I don't give a damn about Julius Randle. He don't pay nothing for me. I'm just not in the business of always pointing at one person. I don't know the guy. I don't know his family. I hate it when people, that's why I brought up Elfrid Payton, because everyone pointed at Elfrid Payton as the reason why the Knicks weren't good enough. Now, everyone's sore that our perimeter defense is bad. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's everybody. It's everybody. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? You know me. I just don't play into. Am I getting some feedback?
Yes, and that's you.
That's you.
Obviously, as soon as
You can say, Big Bubba, you can say all you want. All right, everything Sim is preaching, I was done last week. If you saw my thing last week, I was done last week. And ain't nothing changed, especially what happened on Sunday. I'm done with all of them. I ain't even going to point to one person. I'm pointing to the whole team and pointing to the head coach as well. If you ask me right now, I want him gone. I want him gone. I want him gone.
Kev, relax.
No. Wait, no. Heck no. I've remained silent for the past couple days. I'm unloading right now. So y'all tried to hide this telecast right here from me because y'all don't want me to come on. So I'm on right now.
What are you talking about? You got the notification like everybody else. Clearly, you had the link.
I didn't get no notification. I didn't get no notification.
Well, I'm going to say this. That's user error. That's what it's called. User error.
Okay, all right, fine.
All right, user error.
All right, user error, fine. Sim, this team has no heart. It has no heart. Because if they had heart, then the way we lost on Sunday would not have happened. We probably would have lost, but we wouldn't have lost the way it happened.
Well, I don't think it was effort. It wasn't effort.
What was it then? What
It
What
was
was it then?
bad defense. It wasn't effort. It was bad defense.
All round, and your defense goes into your offense. Your defense
Well, they
goes into
played
your
great
offense.
offense. They scored 135 points. It was defense. It was
It goes
defense.
hand in hand, Sim. You're a coach. It goes hand in hand.
But they scored 135 points.
And
It was defense. It was defense. It wasn't the offense. It was defense. It was
Whatever.
defense.
Whatever. They have no heart. They have no heart whatsoever. And
Okay,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
if that's what you want to say, cool. I get it.
you don't agree
I
with
get
it?
it.
You don't agree with it?
I think they played hard.
I'll be back.
I'm not going to sit here and say they didn't have heart. I think they played hard. I just don't think they're good defensively.
And then that starts from the top. That comes from your principles that you've been taught by your head coach.
It could. In this case, I think it does. Not every team. Sometimes the coach can have the best defensive scheme and your players aren't good. In this case, I don't like the
players aren't
defensive
good.
scheme. I don't think this defensive scheme suits our players. And as a coach, you've got to, I'm going through this right now as I'm coaching my team. I have a couple of players who can't get their rotations right. But I know one player, she's going to be one of our top offensive players. She can't get the defensive rotations right. So what do? Do I put her on the bench and we have a hard time scoring, or do I play her? So I've got to figure out a defense that we can use while she's in the game. I've got to coach to my players, not to what I want to do. I have certain principles that I go by, but I have to utilize my players and try to maximize their ability on the floor. And that means figuring out, how do I cover up their downfalls and not expose their downfalls? You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like with this team here, we're not good at making the right. I don't even want to say we're not good at making the right rotations. Our defensive scheme, I just think, is bad. It's not conducive to the way teams are shooting the basketball nowadays. And so sometimes it makes our players look really, really bad because they can't close. And sometimes you're seeing guys actually close and contest, but they're so far back, it doesn't matter if they contest, the shot is going to be open.
Exactly.
And so I'm blaming a lot on scheme. I really am blaming a lot on scheme. On the defensive strategy that we have in place. I just blame a lot of it on that defensive strategy with what's happening defensively right now.
And you can't tell nothing to Tibbs because he's the one that's in charge of the defense. None of his assistant coaches can tell him nothing because he's the one that's in charge of the defense.
Yeah, I know.
It's just, man, we always complain that until we get a point guard, we won't be, as good. We get the point guard and we're back to the same problems that we've been having. And that's being kind. That's being kind. I'm not seeing the same. You read it player by player on how bad they are defensively. RJ said that he wanted to be, on the all defensive team, make all defensive, make the all defensive team this year and be, more of a defensive player. And I have not seen it. I have not seen it.
Hey, we'll see we'll see what happens. I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see how it's going to look tonight because this is a 3-point shooting team. You got Julius Randle, who's got the guard Kelly Olynyk, and he's a 3-point shooting power forward. He can spread the floor this season. Let's see what he's shooting this season. Because Randle hasn't done a good job closing out on 3-point shooters. You know what I'm saying? At that power forward spot, he's shooting the three at 50%. He's averaging 12.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds. He's 54.6% from the field, and he's 50% from the 3-point line.
Oh,
He was a guy that I thought the Knicks should have gotten. I talked about him last year on several occasions that I like Kelly Olynyk.
I remember
I'm not mad at
you saying that.
Hartenstein, but he's a guy that I thought the Knicks could have taken a chance on last year, or over the summer or whatever it is. I don't know what his contract situation was like. I don't know if he was a free agent or I don't know if you had to trade for him. I'm not sure. So, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but he's a guy that I actually liked for this basketball team. I thought he would have fit really, really well with the way that he can shoot the basketball, and he's lighting it up, starting at the power forward spot. And this could be, a problem. You got
But
Clarkson is shooting it at almost 40%. Lauri
it's gonna be a
Markkanen is
problem.
shooting it well,
Yes.
right? Olynyk can
Yes.
shoot it. Mike
Yes.
Conley can shoot it.
Yes.
A little bit
Yes.
scared at what could happen with
But
what
see,
could
here's the
happen from
thing,
that
Sim.
3-point line tonight.
Yeah, but Sim, here's the thing. It's not just this game, it's the next 4. These teams
I know
that
we're
gonna be
focusing on.
playing,
I know. We're gonna focus
I
on
know,
tonight.
but it's going to be the same script. It's going to be the
I
same
get it.
script.
I get it. We're focusing on tonight. Though. But I'm a little bit nervous about that. Randall and Kelly. I mean, obviously, anyone that's guarding Marketing, I'm worried about that. Olynyk. Randall doesn't do a good job getting out to those 3-point shooters normally. Sometimes he can get out there, but normally those guys end up being open, or he's running out trying to contest, and they're knocking down the threes. So
Sim, real
we'll see
quick.
what's going on. I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about that one.
Right. Is there anyone on that team that we don't know about that's going to shine for them against us? Because that's what's been happening. That's been the ongoing theme.
Well, I think that's been happening because those guys were like inserted in the starting lineup, so on and so forth. So they performed when they got in there. With this team, I think most of the guys that are gonna perform well are in that starting lineup or coming off the bench. Guys that I mean, Colin Sexton is coming off of the bench for them.
Oh God.
Right? So you have a defensive-minded point guard that can give you 20 coming off the bench, right? Because they have Mike Conley out there to kind of control the team. He's been there for a while too, so they're going to give him that kind of respect. But he's there to control the team, make sure they get to their sets, help them remain composed, so on and so forth. Yeah. They have lost the last couple of games, right? They just lost to the Philadelphia 76ers, where they only scored 98 points. All right, in that game, Colin Sexton, we're talking about Colin Sexton, he had 15 points, 2 rebounds. Lauri Markkanen had 15 points, 10 rebounds. Olynyk, 14.6 rebounds. He was 0 for 4 for the 3-point line. Jordan Clarkson had 12 points. Mike Conley had 3 points and 8 assists. Malik Beasley on the bench. They got Malik Beasley. He's another guy that can score and produce. Rudy Gay is not playing tonight, so he's not there on the bench. All right. They got THT, Talon Horton-Tucker. So they have a pretty strong bench, ladies and gentlemen. They have a pretty strong bench. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He didn't play last game, but he's on the bench. So I don't think you're worried about somebody who we don't know stepping up. We know these guys, and we know that these guys can produce and have produced in the NBA. You know what I mean? iHeart and Vanderbilt. I mean, Vanderbilt 6'8", playing the power, playing that center position, and because of his size, we'll see how Tom Thibodeau decides to go with it. Maybe Julius Randle guards Vanderbilt and iHeart defends Kelly Olynyk. Right? Olynyk is not a guy that's going to But still, I don't know. You're going to be asking iHeart to close out on that 3-point shooter. So there are different ways that you can decide to defend these guys.
I'm gonna get my drink on an
We'll
hour
see.
before the game. I'm gonna tell you right now.
You said what?
I'm gonna get my drink on an hour before the game. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Listen. I tell people all the time. Come on, Cornerstone. Listen, I tell people all the time. You can't drink when you're stressed. That's the wrong time to drink. That's when most people drink. They drink when they're stressed. But that's when you drink when you're stressed, that's when the problems come in. Because now your body says, oh, I'm stressed. Go grab something to drink. Don't drink. Go exercise. Just go exercise.
This team oh man, it's just sucking the life out of me. It's painful being a Knicks fan. It really is.
I mean, Cornerstone, you have been through. How old are you, Cornerstone? 58, 60?
And you know what? You suck royally.
You've been Cornerstone. You've been through worse, man. If you can listen, I always tell people, if you can survive the mid 2000 Knicks, you can survive anything. Don't you worry,
No doubt.
Cornerstone.
Yeah, the only problem is back then they weren't hitting as many threes as they are right now.
So I'm just
the Knicks were still getting blown up back then.
I'm just telling you, Cornerstone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go to the gym instead. That's all.
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym instead. All right. Let's break down.
Come work out with me, Kev. Come on, work out with me, man.
Team comparison, man. The Knicks are 6-7 on the season. They average 114.7 points per game, 47 rebounds, 24.3 assists, 14 turnovers, 6.9 steals, 4.9 blocks. They're shooting 45.4% from the field, 32.5% from the three-point line, 78.8% from the free throw line. They're actually 8th in pace at 101.25. They are 18th in offensive rating at 111.3. And they're 24th, ladies and gentlemen, in defensive rating, the New York Knicks. This is a team that most people figured, you got Tom Thibodeau. Last year, they finished 11th in defensive rating. This is a team that's going to be good. Defensively, they've been terrible. 24th in defensive rating at 113.5. And now they're going on a West Coast trip that it may not get much better. Let's just say that. May not get much better. As for the Utah Jazz, they are 10-5 on the season, ladies and gentlemen. 10-5 on the season. They average 116.9 points per game, 44.9 rebounds, 27.7 assists for the Utah Jazz. They average 15.1 turnovers, 7.9 steals, 5.2 blocks. They shoot the ball 46.7% from the field and 37% from three. And you can see it on your screen. I'll blow it up just a little bit so you can see it better if you're not able to see it. They are 4th in the league in three-point attempts, 39.8, basically 40 attempts per game for the Utah Jazz. Tonight, they may take 50 attempts, 50, 55 attempts. They really might.
Okay.
They really might.
Sam.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Sam.
Let me finish.
I apologize.
They shoot the ball 76.7% from the field. They are 13th in pace at 100.73, 5th in offensive rating at 114.7, and 9th in defensive rating at 110.2. It's the Utah Jazz, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Cornerstone, go ahead.
What is the secret behind their success, their early success?
What is the secret behind their success?
What is it? What do you think? What do you think is why they're having success right now in the beginning?
Well, I think they have some depth on the team. When you got Colin Sexton, Malik Beasley, Rudy Gay coming off the bench, those are established NBA players, right? I mean, you look at the Knicks, we have some guys coming off the bench that are decent, right? Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, Now Evan Fournier is coming off the bench. Isaiah Hartenstein was coming off the bench. But the guys that they have coming off the bench are a little bit more established than the guys we have coming off the bench. Like Colin Sexton for years was giving you 20 a game in Cleveland, and he can play defense. Malik Beasley, can come in and give you 20. Rudy Gay can give you 20 still. Taylor Horton Tucker, he's a guy that, right now he's only getting 14 minutes per game, but we've seen him come in. He's a good defender. You've seen him come in and give you 20 and be able to play defense when he was with the Lakers. Right? So they have some established guys who are coming off the bench. And I think that, and then, they have young guys who, Mike Conley running the show. Jordan Clarkson is still pretty young. Lauri Markkanen, I think, is 25 years old. Well, actually, Jordan Clarkson is 30.
Yeah, he's been there.
Lauri Markkanen is 25 years old. All right. Olenek is he's 31. Then you got Jared Vanderbilt. He's 23 years old, right? So you got a couple of young guys in that lineup. So I think their depth is part of it. You don't have any guys on there that, well, maybe Colin Sexton thinks that way, but he's obviously willing to come off the bench. But I don't know if you have any guys who are like, yeah, I'm a superstar, so they're probably doing a good job moving and sharing the basketball, and then they can shoot. That's a big part of it too. They can shoot. Now, this is early season success. We'll see what happens in a few months if they can maintain it. You know what I mean? If they can maintain it, we'll see if they can maintain it. But right now they're having early season success, and they're playing the right way. 27 point, basically 28 assists per game. That means the ball is moving, players are moving, but on top of that, they're making shots. Shots.
That's another thing I want to bring up. You talk about moving. The only person that's moving on our team is Jalen Brunson. It seems like nobody else wants to move without the basketball. None of them. Jalen Brunson's the only one.
I don't know. I think it's gone. There's been a couple of nights when they haven't moved. But I think the problem to me is defense. That's the problem to me, is defense. They're averaging 115 points per game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in years past, the Knicks were averaging 104 points per game. 115 points per game. They're averaging 115. The problem is defense. They could shoot better. Right now, the Knicks average 24 assists. If they were shooting 37% from the three-point line, if they were shooting like Utah is shooting, in my opinion, they'd be averaging 27 assists per game, right? But they're shooting 45% from the field and 32% from three, and they get open threes and they get open shots. They're just not always making them. Have they had moments where, it became dribble heavy? Yes, it has. You know what I'm saying? But, offense isn't the biggest problem right now. It's defense.
Offense, to me, to be honest with you,
defense
Sam,
is the
offense
biggest
isn't.
problem.
Yeah, I was just about to say, to me, offense is my least worry. It's truly this defense. This defense is horrible.
Yeah.
Our perimeter defense has to be. I mean, you already said it's 24th ranked, but it's terrible, man. And to me, we're scoring enough points. We're just giving up way too much.
Giving up. I mean, right now, yeah. I mean, our offensive rating is 111.3. Defensive rating is 113.5. Giving up. Giving up points.
That's low, right? That's low, right?
Yeah, our defensive rating is 24th in the NBA.
Next to Golden State, right?
Huh?
I
think Golden State is just as low.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Golden State's gonna come back.
Yeah,
Okay?
Yeah.
Golden State's gonna come back.
And they have Steph Curry.
Worried about that.
And guess what, Kev? They just won the championship. I mean, look, you know what I mean?
So we give them a pass.
Man, listen. They winning. They're gonna be fine though. Steph Curry, I mean, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's just
okay.
No, go ahead.
No, what I was gonna ask Sim. You talk about scheme. You as a coach, what scheme would you use with this team right here?
I'd mix up my defenses. I've said it a lot of times. I'd mix up my defenses. I'd play some zone. I'd play man. I'd play some zone. I'd throw different defenses out there. Every time out, maybe throw on a defense for 2 or 3 possessions. Maybe some more full court pressure. You know what I mean? Ways to make, right now I feel like we play the same defense. It's very predictable, and it's easy for teams to figure out what we're doing. I think, you got to switch it up every once in a while. Come out of a timeout, and for the next minute, you're trapping. You know what I'm saying? And then you come out of it. You know what I mean? And you go into a timeout, or the other team calls a timeout, whatever it is. You come out on the floor, you jump into a 3-2 zone. Or 2-3 zone, whatever it is that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And you might only do it for a couple of possessions, but it makes the team think. It switches it, it switches their mindset. You know what I mean? Now things aren't as easy. It doesn't become as predictable. By the time the Knicks get to the fourth quarter, teams have figured out exactly what they want to do, and they're able to attack them. Because they've done the same thing the entire game. You're not making other coaches think. You're not making the players think.
And Sim, that's to me where I talked about it earlier. The greatest issue is I don't know if Thibs can survive this West Coast trip, because to me, when you have a players meeting, that's a sign. We all watch the NBA far too long. There's a players meeting, and then if it doesn't turn around, next thing you know, a coach gets fired. For me, it's like this is crucial, because again, with this, and this is the part that I'm a little shocked about, is that you've been quoted as this great defensive guru since the Boston Celtics.
Thank
You've been dubbed that, and for me to see you not changing or adjusting your defensive strategy, or to me at least changing it, changing it up for a year, like changing it up every year to keep people on their toes, and then change it up throughout the game. To me is I don't want to say it's simple, because it's not, because you have to put in the human factor of it. But as a coach, you can't tell me that, because if Sim, you can see it, and if we can see it, to me, there's no doubt that they're not seeing it. Now, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes of why he's not changing it up, but it's getting to a point where, like you said, by the fourth quarter, we know what the Knicks are doing. Honestly, Sim, sometimes by the second or third quarter, they know what they're doing, and it's just like, well, he's not going to change, and it's like people. And then to me, people wonder why he gets fired, or why certain things happen where people see him as a coach that can set a culture but can't lead them to the next level. And it's unfortunate, because I do like Thibs, I really do it, and popular the contrary belief is that he actually does have some modern offense in his modern offense. He does.
He does. And you also, we don't know what the coach sees in practice, and if he thinks they can switch or not. You know what I mean? Me, as a coach, personally, I would try it. But I'm going to go back to, a young lady that I have on my team. She, no matter how many times we practice our rotations, she's not getting it right. She's late on the rotation every single time, because she's stopping and thinking. So like you said, there's a human factor there. You can't discount that. And because of that, I have to figure out what's best for my team. You know what I'm saying? And it may not be, I have to figure out how do I defend with her out there on the floor. And that may not always be what's best for the team, for everyone else that's on the team. You know what I'm saying? But, at this point, she gives up so many, she misses her rotation so much. You know what I mean? It's hard. You know what I mean? Now, we haven't gotten to any games yet, so we're working it out in practice, trying to figure out what the best lineups are, what the best rotations are. But we know she's going to be one of our top scorers on the team. But how do we figure out how to mask her defensive limitations until she's get there? Now, she's only a freshman, so she has time to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but how do we mask her defensive limitations at this point in time? So, you can't discount what the players are doing either.
But
So
this is
it's
what.
obvious. Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, this is what I'm gonna say. This is where, like I said last night when Guillermo was pouring out the defensive schemes of how they're doing things. And again, it all can't be on Thibs. The players are not doing their jobs. Like, to me,
Y'all buddy, y'all are funny, man. Y'all are
give it a
funny.
30.
Well,
Yeah,
honestly, Isaiah, to your point,
El
if that's
Serve
the
said,
case,
hold up, Cab. El Serve said, give her number 30.
number 30.
Good thing she ain't watching the show. She
Might
won't
as
know
well.
who number 30 is for the Knicks anyway if she gets that number.
But
Then Isaiah, to your point, and I know it's probably going to be unpopular, but if the players aren't doing what the coach wants them to do on defense, then they need to sit. They really do.
well, he tried that with RJ Barrett and it didn't work.
Well, I mean, you
RJ's
don't know if
playing
it didn't
bad.
work yet.
Yeah.
Because
I mean-
it was just last game. Sometimes when you sit a player, it takes the next game for them to come out and prove like, okay, this is what I got to do. But what happens when all of your players?
I was about to say, because to me, Sim, this is the issue, right? And this is, I was really upset about this part, is that, and this is why I feel like Thibs might, I'm not gonna say he's losing the guys, but this,
I
to me,
think he is.
I think Thibs is showing signs of, I feel like he feels like this might be the last year, because to me, when you bench RJ for bad play, people are gonna look at you and be like, well, where was this with Randall?
Thank you.
And where was this with other players that are playing
This
bad?
ain't the first time he's benched RJ.
But when
He
has
did it
benched
last
Randall?
year. You know
But
what I'm
when has
saying?
he benched Randall? When has he benched Randall?
But you gotta understand, RJ had 4 fouls. Listen, hold up. You throwing your head back, this, and that, and the third, and all of that. You know
I'm
what I'm saying?
just saying.
Hold up. Listen.
Okay. I'm gonna
Listen.
listen.
RJ had 4 fouls. He didn't bring him back in. He didn't feel like he was doing a good job defensively. All right. RJ, for the most part, he hasn't. I mean, he's done it before, but he hasn't really benched RJ. You know what I'm saying? And RJ will be back getting his 30 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. But the only thing that bothers me with that is that it's easy to pick on RJ. RJ's gonna listen. RJ's 22 years old. He's gonna listen.
Randall ain't listening to you.
He's not gonna, like you said, he'll be fine. He has the attitude, well, I got benched, I'm gonna just come back tonight and play 35 minutes. I'm saying, to me, is when you do that, you set yourself up for failure when it's like you bench RJ for bad play, but when if Randall plays bad, you don't do that. And everybody knows that. That's the problem I have with it.
I guess you got to ask Tibbs. He hasn't been asked that. Reporters haven't asked him about that.
And then on the flip side with that is Obi can make one bad play and he'll take him out right then and there.
Nah, it hasn't really happened like that this season with Obi. I'm just saying it hasn't. It hasn't happened like that with Obi. Can Obi get more minutes? Yes, but it hasn't happened like that. He's given Obi a little bit more slack, in my opinion, this season. In my opinion, he's giving Obi more slack. Can he get more minutes? He possibly could.
Yeah,
I think he's giving Obi more slack. My biggest complaint with Tom Thibodeau is the defense. That's my biggest complaint. Other stuff, coaching is not easy. Coaching is hard.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you get a lot of people, that, do sideline coaching and coaching from their TV and stuff like that. Coaching is very, very hard. You know what I mean? And when you're on the sidelines making decisions, it's not easy to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? So, you go by your gut, you go by what you see, and then you got to try to recoup afterwards and think about the game, watch it, and then make more decisions, on how you got to move. It's difficult. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with rotations and things like that, the human factor always plays in. But when you're talking about the defensive schemes, that's something that you have a chance to, like, really, really analyze. You can sit there, you can see what's happening, and you can make changes. You know what I'm saying? And I just, I've been calling for it since the beginning of the season. There's got to be more variations on the defense. You know what I'm saying? We're straight up man to man with, a double team here and a double team there if someone's getting hot, but it's not always, it's not working because the overall defensive scheme is to protect the paint almost at all costs, and we're getting killed on the outside. We don't have guys that can stop dribble penetration. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out how do you defend that, and that's on Tom Thibodeau and the coaching staff, right? Figure out what do we do? Well, one of the easy answers is to play a zone. You know what I'm saying? To help stop that dribble penetration. You know what I'm saying? And I know people say, well, you play these teams that can shoot the three. They're going to shoot you out of the zone. Let's see them do it then. If they shoot you out the zone, then you switch it up again. But give it a chance. Because right now we're getting killed anyway shooting the three. That's my biggest argument right now is the defense. The defense. You know what I'm saying? We're averaging 115 points per game. We should be able to win. I mean, we're 6-7. We could have it. We should have a winning record. 7-6, 8-5, or something like that.
Exactly.
Right? It's the defense. It's the defense. To me, that's what it's boiling down to. All these other things people can complain about. To me, is the defense, and I'm placing it on Tom Thibodeau because I think the defensive scheme is bad.
Yeah, and I want to say this too. Again, we talked about it before. And also, I just want to say, man, shout out to Who's Mark. We glad to see you back, baby. He sound like coaching right now, Sim, with the comments. He sound like coaching, but no. So Sim, again, right? We talked about this during the summer, where I think most of us all agreed that why to me Tom Thibodeau doesn't look at what the Miami Heat do.
Because he don't have Miami Heat's players. He's got to look at his players and figure out what works for his players.
Hold on, son. Well, I say that because, no, he doesn't have Heat players. But if you look at the Heat roster, man, they don't have tall, athletic, jumping out the gym guys. And don't get me wrong, yes, they do have Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. But the rest of those guys, those dudes are like 6'5", 6'3".
But it's not about that. It's not about their size and length and height. It's about their defensive acumen. You can have a guy that's 6'5" all day long. He might not be able to play defense.
That's true.
Or he may not know his rotations. So you can't look at the Miami Heat and say, do that, do that. Look at this team and say, do that. You got to look at your players and find out what works and how do you switch up defenses. It's the principles that you go by. I don't know. Anyway, I got to get out of here because I got to get to basketball practice and so I can help this young lady so she don't end up being Julius Randle or Evan Fournier or RJ Barrett or these guys on the defensive side.
We need more player. We need more players like Jose Alvarado for the Pelicans. I put that on Twitter today. That's what we need because he has the heart and gives the effort on the defensive end.
Well, Cornerstone to be completely transparent and fair, they do have CJ McCollum, Zion Williams,
right,
Brandon Ingram.
He does give him that. But you need someone coming off that bench that has that heart, and he has that.
But what I'm saying
you don't
is
have no one like that.
But what I'm saying with Alvarado, though, whatever his name is
Alvarado,
that he has the opportunity. Just they can literally tell him just go play defense. We have enough guys to put the ball through the hoop. You have Zion that can get you 30. That get you 30 points on 10 shots. You have CJ McCollum that can get you 30. You have Brandon Ingram that can get you those three guys right there can literally get you 90 points. So I mean,
that's the same as us. We can do it on offensively, but we can't do it defensively. That's what I'm saying about this kid right here. That's what I was saying.
Okay, well, we're gonna see tonight what's going on, man. We're gonna see tonight. I don't even have any predictions for you as far as wins or losses. I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'll give you one. We're gonna lose.
Yeah, you said that against Detroit too. You said we were gonna.
Huh?
You said we were going to lose versus Detroit.
I will come on tonight if we do win.
You barely wanted to come on then. You came in from somebody's bathroom. You came on from somebody's bathroom. You barely wanted to come on in.
That was my niece's house. Don't be disrespectful, Mr. Sim.
Yeah, all right.
That was my niece's house and everything.
I think Sim. So Sim, I'm gonna do a prediction tonight. I think the Knicks will respond in a positive way after the team only dinner. I'm going to say 115-99 Knicks.
I hope so. We need a win. Knicks need a win. But ladies and gentlemen, I got to get to practice. All right. I will see you after the game tonight. It's going to be a late one.
One more question. Sim, one more question. If I was on your coaching staff, would you listen to me? Would you listen to my strategy?
If you was on a coaching staff, I say, Kev, go get those towels over there and put them on the backs of all of the seats.
I hate you.
Right?
I hate you.
Then I say after the game, collect all those towels, put them in that plastic bag, bring it home and wash it.
You are not. I'm gonna call you Tibbs now. You don't listen to your coaching staff. I'm gonna call you Tibbs now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time.
Okay.
I see you later on tonight. Postgame show. I'm out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.